Hello everyone, I'm here with Alina. I'm so excited. I came all the way from Buenos Aires, from Argentina, to meet her because she knows a lot about narcissism and recovery and all that, and I really admire her. So I just wanted to interview her, and she was so kind to let me come and visit her here and interview her. So it's amazing.
Oh, thank you for that introduction, Alina. Not a problem at all.
I wanted to ask her a few questions.
Sure.
I love your blog post and your YouTube channel and your Instagram post. Everything is so helpful. You get from every post, you get information and valuable content. So I read in one of her blog posts that the victim is emotionally giving, very caring, kind, loving, selfless, basically good people like you and I. Iñaki Piñuel, who is a Spanish psychologist, and he made an analogy about Snow White and how the evil queen would go and get her heart, and she was kind and loving and everything you mentioned here.
Yeah.
So, and on the other side, we hear a lot about codependency, and this resonated a lot with me because I don't think that all the victims are that way necessarily, and so I wanted to know what you think about that.
Alina, I also think, I don't think that every single victim who goes through narcissistic abuse is codependent, and I've also mentioned this as well. There's a lot of people that do have their own autonomy. They have their own sense of self. They're strong people, like me and you. And I wouldn't necessarily say that we were quite codependent in our relationships with narcissists. But what I do feel is that there are people who are like that, but then there are people who are not like that. And I think, for example, Snow White, would you have said she's codependent? She was actually fine on her own, and she was okay. Like she had the 7 dwarfs. That was good family. She was that's it. She was a good person. She had a big, kind heart, and she was just genuine. She was authentic, and like many of you are as well. So I guess it's kind of like when you're a good person, sometimes that can be exploited, and that's such a shame. And I think that that can resonate with many of your viewers as well. That when people do go through this, and sometimes that codependency label doesn't really fit with them, because honestly, I didn't identify with that label.
No.
And whilst it does with others, and some people genuinely are quite codependent, it didn't for me. And I think, like Snow White, it's just when you're a good person, you just want to help people naturally. You just want to make everything fine, because why should someone else suffer? Why should someone else feel different? You want to just be good and make good.
And that's the perfect victim, right? For the narcissist. That's what you want.
It's perfect. Absolutely. They want people to believe in them, and it's something that they've not had. So that's what they want from you, because you're a good person and you have no reason to doubt them.
Yeah.
So you believe them.
Yeah. And you also mentioned that you healed through education.
Yes.
And she is about to get her PhD, so she knows a lot about this. But and I think we still learn. You're always researching, and
we learn through experiences in life, right? And I guess that's what it's about. It's about learning. And for me, for education, I guess mine was also experiential, because I had worked in mental health hospitals here in the UK, and they were predominantly the people that were in these hospitals were people who had schizophrenia or personality disorder. So when I thought, oh my God, I'm actually with someone.
To all of us,
yeah. So it doesn't necessarily mean you have to be a certain way or a certain education or a certain hierarchy, or a culture or anything.
You're a surgeon, something.
Yes,
it doesn't have to.
No, everybody can be affected. Yeah. Absolutely.
So and I wanted to talk a bit about CPTSD, because I mentioned EMDR for treating CPTSD, and I wanted to know Anushka's point of view.
It is a complex disorder, and I think with EMDR, that is very specific to certain events. And I think what we need to remember is the way that we form memories, because that's what it is. With EMDR, the reason why it's so specific is because it has to be a certain memory that we have, and we remember that all the time, and that's what keeps us in the trauma, is remembering that certain experience or that memory. So the way that the EMDR works is you retrieve that memory. You kind of have to go through it, relive it, re-experience it. And with EMDR therapy, you then kind of rework it in your mind. You attach different emotions to it. So when it gets put back into the box or into the memory bank, so to speak, it doesn't have that same connotation or meaning. Yes, and that's how EMDR works. So I guess it could also work with a specific person, because when you get to know someone, you know them in a specific way, and so you will attach meaning and emotion to it. We're quite emotional creatures anyway. So if, for example, you could work on that specific person, so with your therapist, and you'd have to go through someone who is specifically trained with EMDR. Not everybody is, and always remember to ask for qualifications and things like that when you do go to see.
They have to be certified.
Yes, they have to. Otherwise, it's very dangerous doing that. In terms of working with a person, you would look at that person, and all of the trauma that is attached to that person, you would have to kind of understand them in a different way, and kind of, also it's about forgiving yourself as well. So EMDR in itself, really, I really am a big fan of EMDR. But it's very specific. Right. Yes, it's one part. It's very specific. It works more with cognition rather than emotional attachment to the memory. So it's cognitive. It's perfect, but emotionally, it's
there's
something.
Always that. Yeah. That's what we need to work.
Always, always in life.
Yeah, and we changed our personalities. Not our personalities, but we changed.
We do change our personalities, absolutely. We change.
We go through so much then.
You do, because you have to accommodate and you have to do everything that they want you to do. So of course you change. You change as a person, it's not you. And you're not free, you're just contained, and it's just, you're not authentic you.
You start losing parts of yourself.
That's so true. Yes, you do. You lose your identity,
And then you may start developing anxiety and things like that.
Oh goodness,
Yeah, so we were talking about before about the anxiety, and you made a good point about well-being and bringing yourself. And you mentioned music and all that.
Yeah. When you're sure. Yeah. No, of course. I was talking about, so when you're experiencing anxiety, that's like basically when all your emotions, your cognitions have gone haywire. Yeah. And when you reach that point, you just think, oh my God, there is no coming back. But you know what? There are certain things that you can do. So, for example, what we call it is a technique called grounding yourself in the moment. So it's about it's exactly that, just anchoring yourself in the actual moment. So that's like changing your surroundings, changing your environment. It could be as simple as, like you said, from upstairs to downstairs, maybe even going out of the house just for a walk, just to feel like the air outside, the fresh air. It could be, if you don't want to go outside, because sometimes anxiety can disable us, put some music on. Maybe put some music on, something that you like a favorite song.
Something that reminds you that you're here.
Or a favorite playlist. Like you could put together like a playlist of songs that you really, really like, that could really evoke some emotional reaction to to something that you're feeling. Just playing that music just to get you out of that moment, basically. Also, other things are that could ground you are smells. That's what I was going to say. Smells. So smells like maybe like chili sauce, or like mustard, or horseradish. Yes, or pepper. Peppers are really good. What makes me sneeze? Pepper's really, really good. So it's just something just to bring you out of that, because remember, you're in a different mindset as well. So it's just bringing you back. Right. Yeah. Triggers are a little bit different, because with anxiety, although you're going to have the uniform feelings that you're feeling, for example, you're going to be feeling
heart palpitations.
Oh yeah, that's the main one. Yeah, heart palpitations. You're like, oh my god, sweating, or dry throat, or you're going to be feeling really tearful, disorientated perhaps. Triggers can become a little bit more difficult to deal with because what you're doing is you're experiencing that whole memory, and you're reliving all of these emotions that are with that memory. And so it might be more difficult to be able just to ground yourself and get that awareness. What I would say is, with triggers, just allow it to go through. But what you can do is do simple things in your daily life that will help you to manage it. So what I'm saying is, because with a trigger, you've got the emotional side and the cognitive side. So it's about kind of helping your emotions to feel more settled, more grounded, rather than being in a heightened state all the time. If you're already doing like helping yourself with anxiety, then those emotions attached with that is going to help us. You're going to feel a lot calmer. Again, I always say that when you've got routine and you know what you're going to be doing next, it helps you to do that. For example, this technique could work. You could say to yourself that if you're feeling a trigger coming on, or if you feel that you're going to be quite triggered, what you can say to yourself is, right, not right now, I'm going to think about it later, and then actually have an hour in the day where you are just going to think about your trigger, for example. I know that's not always possible, and I know that doesn't always work for everybody.
But go through that and how you feel.
See how you feel. But also, maybe in the morning you could have a journal. You could write in your journal, and then again
That's so helpful.
Yeah, this journaling is you get in touch with you get to know you as well. And with triggers, that's what it's about. It's about knowing you, knowing how you feel, knowing and understanding, right, I can feel a trigger coming on. Okay, now I know what's to be expected. So it's not just all a surprise, because that can be quite difficult. It's in itself. And then at the end of the day, you could bookend your day. Again, you could journal. You could have a really nice
letter, like you wrote a blog post about that. There's a blog post she wrote about write a letter and don't send it.
Oh my God, do not send a letter.
Yeah, no, please.
Do never ever send a letter.
Oh no, I could never send it.
I know you want to. I know you really, really want to. But don't send letters. Please don't. It's not going to get you anywhere. I swear to God, it won't get you anywhere. You'll never understand it anyway.
Yeah, they won't get it.
Won't get it.
But you will work through those feelings and you will magically feel better, and
because they're not stuck here,
right?
Because when they're here, when you need an outlet for them, you can't keep them here, and then and that's where it goes. It goes into anxiety, so you push them down. That's okay, and it's not okay, because they always come up. But you need an outlet for these negative feelings, and that's what journaling is, and that's what writing that letter is.
Yeah,
and it's so important. It's so important to do that. That's part of self-care. It really, really is. It's so important to do that.
And one thing I said is that self-care, it sounds great, like you take care of yourself and all that, but it takes work, like, especially if you're going out of this, you need this energy, you need to do it, like, it takes work.
It really, really does. Yeah. You really do have to schedule it in.
Yes.
Otherwise, it doesn't get done. And I know this myself. Yeah. Like, this one of my resolutions, to have that time for self-care, because ultimately you're depleting yourself.
Yes.
And then how can you feel okay when your cup is empty?
Right. That's why I was filming Friday videos. Fill your cup. You're sick of hearing me say that.
Absolutely.
But,
it is. You're right, Alina. Absolutely.
Useful, and it helps a lot with recovery.
Yes, it is. It's gold.
We talk about vengeance and revenge and all that. Yes, we feel like we want that, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know how you feel about that, because we didn't talk about that.
We didn't mention that.
Yeah, we didn't mention it. But I think it's useless. Like, you don't, there's no way to go. Because I feel like you would become them in some way. Like, you're now plotting to do something again. No, please don't do that.
You are right. Yeah, you are right.
I wanted to ask you how you feel about that. I don't know. What advice?
Revenge is very, very. Yes, of course you want to get revenge on them, and believe me, I've been there as well. But then I'm going to ask you a question. After you have done the revenge, after, say, for example, you did what is it that you actually would do? Wouldn't it be better maybe writing it down? But even if you were to take revenge on that person, I know that you would feel amazing for days, hours, weeks, I don't know. But then after that, especially if you've got children, what are you teaching your kids?
Right.
And isn't revenge always better served cold when someone is not expecting it? They're going to be expecting you to take revenge. You don't want to do that. Revenge is such an ego, it's ego and ego going head to head. And believe me, we don't do that, do we? We don't do ego.
No.
Because we are better than that. We are above that. Okay, we don't want to behave like them. Revenge is when you feel good, when you live well.
You take care of yourself.
Exactly. Can you imagine if, say for example, a year from now, you are living your best life. You are living a life that you absolutely love and are happy and are thriving. They look at that and they know that they didn't destroy you. They know that you are thriving. Wouldn't that be better? Because that will hurt them more than you wanting to take revenge. And I know you're probably thinking, oh my gosh, that's like going to be ages and ages. Make it happen. You have the power to make that happen. You can make your life happen. And ultimately, what you're going to be doing is you're going to be putting all of that energy into helping you, into making and giving yourself the life that you've always wanted. Otherwise, revenge, what is that? You're just putting more energy into them. And that's what you're doing. You're giving them your energy. And haven't you done enough of that?
Yes.
What's the point? Let them live their life.
Right. Yes.
Let them go and do what they're doing. Bye.
Yeah. Totally agree. And I wanted to ask you, you do coaching online, and I'm going to link her channel below. I'm going to say that also in the beginning, but and her Instagram. She does coaching online, and she is very good, I tell you, because she's lovely. But so how do you do that? Do you do one session, 2 sessions?
Oh, okay. So yeah, it's done online, or it can be done face to face. It's usually done on Skype, so location isn't a problem. And when I do the coaching or the sessions, it is very specific to narcissistic abuse. I've also got other options coming. I'm going to be doing a membership. I'm going to be doing a membership. Kind of part of the site. Later on this year. Hopefully going to be running workshops as well.
That's what I read. Workshops here? So
here? Yes, here, actually in this building. Yes. So, and also I'll be doing like some podcasts. But predominantly, I'm going to start that up again.
Forward to that.
Yeah, I want to do that. I really enjoyed it last
time.
When
I take my kids to school.
So many people say that. That's so much. It's so much easier because you can't watch a video when you're driving, right?
Yes. No.
So yes, I'm going to be doing that. So that's all coming up in 2019. Sessions usually online. Yeah.
Great. So I'm going to finish this video here, and I'm going to make another one for next week maybe, or we'll see when I put that one up. And so thank you so much.
Thank you for having me on your channel. I really, really enjoyed it. Thank you.
You're lovely. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, bye.